Hello everybody, welcome to episode 2 or tutorial number 2 of the basic crochet tutorial series on my channel. My name is Tiffany if you do not know, and in this episode we will be doing 3 different stitches. So we will be doing a half double crochet, a double crochet, and a treble crochet. And just so that you guys know, this is all in US term. So UK terms is a bit different. I will insert a little picture so you can compare the difference between the US and UK terms. I forgot to do that in the previous video. I forgot to give a disclaimer in the previous video as well. So I wanted to make sure I hopped on here and gave that little disclaimer. As I mentioned in that first video, there will be a separate series for amigurumi doll making in specific, where I go in depth on specific stitches that I personally use for doll making, like the magic circle and the X stitch. So definitely keep out for that. If you like this video, if you find it helpful, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so you can get notified when I post those other tutorial videos. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let's jump into it, okay? Okay, so I'm just going to show you guys the materials that you're going to use. Again, this is Red Heart Super Saver yarn in baby pink. It is 4 weights or worsted weighted acrylic yarn, 100% acrylic yarn. Some mini scissors, which we will only use to snip off the ends of our work, and a 3.5 millimeter hook or an E-sized hook, depending on how it's labeled. And I want to show you guys our swatch from the last video. This is a row, 4 rows of single crochets. Oh, it's actually like this. 4 rows of single crochets, and I used this hook, the same yarn. So we're going to go ahead and do our swatches today in the same yarn, same hook, so you can see the difference in size from these swatches. So let's jump into it. I won't be going in depth on the slip knot again. If you have any problems or any questions on how to do a slip knot, go ahead and check out that previous video where I teach you how to do a slip knot, how to chain, and how to do a single crochet. There are chapters in that video, so you can skip over to that part, whatever part you need. So we're going to go ahead and chain 11 again, just as we did the first time around for our single crochet. So let me make sure I have, I'm going to kind of move this off to the side. I like my working yarn coming off of this side. It makes it a bit easier. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. I also want to let you know, I forgot to mention this in the first video, but there is no right or wrong way to hold your hook. Some people hold it like how I hold it. Some people hold it like this, like if it's a pencil of some sort. Whichever way feels comfortable for you is okay. Just make sure that it feels comfortable for you. So this is how I like it. This is how I hold my hook. That's just how it works better for me and how I feel most comfortable. So just wanted to put that little disclaimer out there. So I have my chain of 11. Just like we did on the single crochet swatch, we are going to skip this stitch right here and go into the second stitch from the hook. So to do a half double crochet, you're going to put the yarn around your hook so that you're technically having 2 loops, and then you're going to insert into the loop, right? So before, for the single crochet, we just went straight into this chain space right here. But for the half double crochet, we are going to wrap the yarn around our hook and then enter into that space. And so when you do this, you should have 3 loops on the hook. 1, 2, 3. And what you're going to do is the same way that you would a single crochet wrap around by putting your yarn under. You're going to pull through all 3 of those loops. And so it should look a little something like this. So we're going to do that again. Wrap our yarn around the hook, then insert it into the chain space. We're going to take those 3 loops and we are going to pull through all 3 loops. So those are our first 2 half double crochets. Again, this is US terminology. I believe a half double crochet in UK terminology is a double or treble crochet. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, I will leave that down below. I will write it so you guys can compare. And again, just like that, loop around, insert through that chain, pull that loop through, 3 loops on your hook, and pull through all 3. So I'm gonna go ahead and make 4 rows. I'm actually gonna go ahead and show you guys this row here so you can see what you do at the end of the row. In that first video, I showed you the last stitch of this row is always hard to go in through. So if you need a refresher on how to enter into that stitch, go ahead and watch that last video. I go a little bit more in depth. For now, I'm just gonna speed through the next 4 rounds. And once I have those 4 rounds, I will get back to you, okay? Okay, so I have finished the 4 rows of half double crochet. I'm going to show you how to count your rows. You'll kind of be able to tell by the swatch a little bit that it braces on specific parts. So I'm just going to go ahead and fasten off. I like to close off my round, my project once I'm done with a chain 1. It kind of works as a slip stitch at the end of each piece. So I'm going to chain 1 and pull a little bit of thread, grab my scissors here and cut, and then just pull that chain 1 tight. And so as you can see, there are 4 rounds here. Here is 1. You see that little indent? That's how I know. Then this is 2, 3, and 4. And so I'm going to show you the difference in height compared to the single crochet. This is the difference in height. So the width is the same because we chain the same 10, but the height is what changes. So this is the difference. I will show you guys in a separate video how I sew in my ends. So you guys can see that. I will go ahead and do all of my swatches and then show you guys that in a separate video. So this is the difference. You can see it's a bit taller and it's the same amount of rows, 4 rows, 4 rows. This stitch is just a bit tighter. You can also notice some more holes. In comparison to this stitch has barely any holes. This stitch is a bit looser, which is what adds to the height. So now we are going to go ahead and do double crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and chain the same 11 for each. And so for the half double crochet that we just did, in between each round, I chained 1. But for the double crochet, I will be chaining 2 at the end of each round. So when we get to that, I will show you guys what I mean, okay? So instead of chaining 11 for the double crochet, I'm actually going to chain 12. And I'm going to skip 1, 2, and go into this 3rd chain on the hook. This is for double crochet. So I will go ahead and enter go through that first 2. And there you go. That is my first double crochet. So I'm going to do the same, wrap my yarn around the hook, insert into that first, into that next chain stitch. I'm going to have 3 loops on my hook, go through only 2 of those. I will have 2 left, and then I will go through those 2. That's my second double crochet. And I will repeat, wrap around, insert, go through only 2, and then go through only 2. So this chain 2 is just a chain. It won't count as a stitch, but we use that to lift up the stitch since it is a bit higher than the half double crochet. We need it to be lifted up a bit more, so that is why instead of chaining 11, we're chaining 12, but we're still going to have 10 stitches at the end. Sorry if that was a bit confusing. So I'm going to finish this round. And you can probably tell this stitch is way higher than a regular single crochet just off the bat. It's a lot more work to finish the stitch. It is a process. It's a double step process in this stitch. So this is 1 row of double crochets. And so you can probably tell there's a bit more of a gap in between the stitches if you separate them like this. That is because they are higher up. So I'm going to go ahead and do 3 more rows and speed up the video for you guys. And then I will go ahead and show you guys a comparison of the half double crochet with the double crochet round. So like I mentioned, for this double crochet swatch, you will chain 2 instead of 1 and then turn your work. Okay, so I finished crocheting 4 rows of the double crochet. So you can tell here, this is 1 row here, 1 row right here, and then another and another. So I'm going to go ahead and close it off the same way I do with every other swatch by chaining 1. Like I said, this kind of works as a slip stitch. At the end of the round, pull that close. And as you can see, this is practically a full-on square. It's not very rectangular as the single crochet swatch was. This is the comparison next to the half double crochet. So you can see there that is a bit taller. And then compared to the single crochet swatch. So that is like half of the single crochet swatch. So there's all 3 of them. It's a bit hard to tell because they're the same color. You can kind of see it there. So I am gonna go ahead and do the next stitch, which is a treble crochet. And if I'm being honest, I don't use treble crochets like ever, but it's still a good stitch to learn and to know. But if I'm honest, I never ever use it. So I'm going to chain 12 because we're going to need those 2 extra stitches at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Skipping these 2 stitches here, I'm going to wrap my my yarn around the hook like I would for a double crochet, and then I'm going to do that again. So there should be technically 3 loops on the hook. I'm going to insert into that 3rd chain from the hook, and it's like a double crochet. There will be 4 loops instead of 3. We're going to go in through the first 2. Now you should have 3, and we're going to go in through those 3. Now you should have 2, and we're going to go into those 2, and that is a treble. A lot of people chain 3 instead of chaining 2. It's personal preference, honestly. I'm going to go ahead and do that again. So wrap my yarn around twice into the next stitch, go through the first 2 stitches, have 3 on my hook, go through 2 more, have 2 on my hook, and then go through the last 2. And so my battery's dying right now, so I'm going to go ahead and take a little break, and I will be right back to show you the rest of the swatch once it's finished. Okay, y'all, so I finished the swatch for, let me zoom out a bit. I finished the swatch for the treble crochet. I'm going to go ahead and end it the same way I did with all the others, with a single crochet, with a chain 1, and then I'm going to pull the tail, snip that off, pull this close, and this is the treble crochet. As you can see, obviously you can see the holes, you can see the gaps. It's a very long stitch. So this is 1 row, this is 2 rows, 3 rows, and then 4th row. It's a little bit easier to see where the rows start and end on this swatch here, but I will show you it compared to the double crochet row. There it is. And then this is the half double crochet row tell, there is a gigantic size difference between these 4 different swatches. And so I'm going to show you in the next tutorial how to sew in your ends for each of these swatches. So definitely stay tuned for that video. I'm going to go ahead and show you them side by side here, so you can kind of see. I know it's a bit messy with the little dangly parts, but this is how they look side by side. So you can kind of see the difference in height. All of these are 4 rows, and essentially with the treble crochet you can create it as long as you want it. In between each row, when you finish each row, I just chain 3 and then turn, instead of chaining 2 like I did with the double crochet and chaining 1 like I did with the half double and single crochet. I chain 3. So let's say you want to make it even taller than this stitch. You would just wrap it around as many times as you want. Go through 2 stitches each time, and however many times you wrap it around, so this would be 3 times, you would chain 3. If you wrap it around 1 more time, you would chain 4. If you wrap it around twice more, you would chain 5, and so on and so on. I hope that makes sense. But you can essentially make this stitch as long as you want. Like I said, realistically, the projects that I make, I don't use this stitch hardly ever, but it is a good stitch to know, just in case you need to use it. But like I said, with the projects that I work on, I hardly ever use the treble crochet stitch. I normally stick with either single crochet, half double, or double crochet, and most patterns, most projects also stick with these 3 right here. This stitch is more so for like if you're making doilies, I think that's how you say them. If you're making doilies, they use this stitch a lot, and like coasters and things like that. You would be using these 2 stitches mostly. But yeah, I hope that this video was helpful. I hope that it helped you see the difference in sizes of the stitches. I hope that you learned a lot. I learned something at least. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them down below in the comments. I would love to help you and answer whatever questions I can. And I will see you guys in the next video, in the next tutorial. Bye!